Hello students, we'll start with our poem, which is the last three stanzas of the poem and which is an epitaph. And if you had, I don't know, in your first year must have heard about it, but what is an epitaph? It is a phrase or form of words that is written in memory of a person who has died. Especially it is an inscription that is on the tombstone of the person who is no more. So it tells about the person, his time, the years that he had lived in this world, or events of his life are remembered and written on the tombstone. So this is an epitaph. Here rests his head. This means that these lines are written, or the speaker is imagining that would be written on his tombstone. Here rests his head upon the lap of earth, a youth to fortune and to fame unknown. Fair science frowned not on his humble birth, and melancholy marked him for her own. So we suppose here, or we are asked to suppose or to imagine that we are like the kindred spirit that the speaker was talking about in the earlier part of the poem, who had asked about the dead speaker, and are reading in these lines the poet's, or that is Thomas Gray's, imagined epitaph for himself that he imagines would be written on his tombstone. So this is where he says the speaker is resting his head on the ground, means that he is laying, his body is laid. Dead people, because dead people don't really rest their heads anywhere, they are just dead, and after all, and earth is being here personified when the speaker imagines that it could have a lap. So earth is personified as a mother in whose lap the speaker has his final sleep, or his having the final rest. The speaker calls himself a young person who is unknown both to fortune, that is, he was not fortunate enough to have good luck or wealth during his life, and to fame, and he was not a person who had enough of fame during his lifetime. In other words, he was a sort of a person with a humble birth, but at least he was no stranger to knowledge or science. In spite of his humble origins, he was a scholar and a poet, though he may have not earned enough money or fame, but he was lucky enough to have the knowledge and the imaginary skills, and he was a scholar and a poet. So here we also see that fame, fortune, science, melancholy, all these words are capitalized. That means that the speaker or the poet is personifying these words and giving them qualities of a living being. So all these things, he says, they were not fortunate for him, or he was not fortunate, or these things didn't have their blessings on him. Large was his bounty and his soul sincere. Heaven did a recompense as largely send. He gave to misery all he had. A tear he gained from heaven. It was all he wished, a friend. So he is talking about himself, what sufferings he had, what sort of a person he felt he was, and he might have had humble beginnings, but he did pretty well for himself, means that he was generous enough, sincere, and heaven or God paid him back for those good quality. Recompense means recompensate, that heaven or God, because he was a generous and sincere person, God had given enough to him to recompensate his self or his good qualities. The speaker gave everything he had to his depression, or as is personified here, the word depression, misery in other words, his tears. But heaven gave him something very awesome, that is a friend. Though he says that he had his share of miseries and tears and sorrows, but heaven or God was kind enough to give him a very beautiful, a very awesome friend. So the speaker here is probably referring to his best friend, that is Richard West, who was his soulmate and he was a part of his being. No farther seek his merits to disclose, or draw his frailties from their dread abode. There they alike in trembling hope repose, the bosom of his Father and his God. So he says to the person who is going through the epitaph that is written on the tombstone of the poet or the speaker, he says, don't try to find out anything more about the dead speaker's good points. No farther seek his merits to disclose, means don't try to go more into details about his good points, and don't try to dig up any dirt on his bad points or frailties either. He says, don't try to find good points, neither the bad points or frailties or weaknesses of the person who is lying dead in this tombstone. We should not ask about them. He says that we should not talk about such things, because when a person is dead or he has gone from this world, we should not talk about his bad things at least. Now he says, because why should we not talk? Because all his good and bad points or bad things are in repose. Repose means now they are resting, they are no longer here, hoping for an eternal life in heaven with God. So he says that because it should be like this, we should not talk about the good or bad things about the person who is lying in this tombstone, because the good and bad points of the person are now in a resting position. For what? And they are hoping for an eternal life in heaven with God. Thank you. I hope you must have enjoyed the poem and understood. If you have any doubts, you can write in the comments section or you can ask. Thank you.